What is up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to the number one show in the universe, in the stratosphere, everywhere, and that is the one and only Pack Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz
and Quan.
How's it going, bro?
Going good. Living, exhaling,
That's it.
inhaling,
Hey,
walking, looking.
that's it.
So,
Like I
you
told
know,
you the last video, it's good to be 10 toes down, not 10 toes up. Now I'm gonna
yeah,
tell you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for tuning into the show. Thank y'all for watching. Um, just do us a favor. If this content helps you or you like the content, let's leave a like because it pushes us up in the algorithm and it kind of helps us out. And if you feel inclined, please subscribe. Because we do this every week. You know what I'm saying? We make sure we pump up that content for you guys. So this particular episode, we're just going to talk about different trending topics that has happened since we last spoke with you guys. So going back to the Kansas City Chiefs, they made two moves as far as a trade, and the biggest fish that they got was one DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, it's like I ain't gonna say the rich get richer because their defense is sort of better than their offense right now, but they're really gearing up for that third in a row, that elusive three-peat. So I think DeAndre Hopkins kind of moves that needle, especially for them.
I
Especially
mean,
for
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, they need pass catchers. They suffered some injuries on the offensive side of the ball,
That
so
is true.
he definitely adds some hands to the offensive side of the ball. Vet
Mm-hmm.
guy. I mean, very intrigued. I mean, he didn't have a big first game. He had about like 29 yards.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about Kansas, every yard counts for them. I don't really think they look too much into a person having a huge, spectacular game where they got over 100 and some odd yards. It's just about moving the sticks.
Mm.
But I'm intrigued. I didn't get to watch their first game, but I'm intrigued to see how Andy Reid uses him. I mean, he's been a deep threat most of his
Short-handed receiver.
career. A possession type of guy,
Yeah.
red zone threat. I mean, D Hop has done it all, seen it all for the most part of his career, and just excited for him most of all. I mean, he gets to play with, I believe, the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a winning franchise who's winning football games in ugly and good ways. So I'm intrigued
Yeah.
to see how they use him when it comes to playoff time. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Just to piggyback on what you said, they winning football games. They're currently undefeated right now.
Yeah.
Some would say, and I ain't gonna go there because there's gonna be some Kansas City fanboys and they're talking about you just hating. But
Go ahead, say it with your chest.
I mean, hey, that's what we do with this show. Say, hey, some would say that the Kansas City Chiefs been getting away with murder out there, unaliving people out there. So the refs, they kind of look the other way when they come down to Kansas City. But hey, I'm just saying
honestly,
what they say.
honestly, my argument with that is, I mean, yeah, they do get some calls, but I mean, they get some stuff against them too that the refs don't get. I mean, just in general, the refs is just ref.
Inconsistent.
I mean, they are very inconsistent calls. I
Yeah.
think we talked about this before on previous shows, with the referees or whatever. I mean, it's very inconsistent. A lot of things are now being called from New York and everything,
Mm-hmm.
especially with like the touchdown, replays and everything's being called from New York and everything. So just in general, man, the refs are some bull.
Yeah.
Just very inconsistent. They see what they want to see. Sometimes I do feel like they lean more on the home team than they do away team, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. Just depending on what the franchise is about. Just in general, man. The rest is some something to you look underneath your glasses if you wear them and look at them and be like, man, listen, y'all out here cheating.
I'm just saying that the refs, they need to go see the optometrist because I mean, granted, I'm sure tens of hundreds of holding calls never get called. I mean, and if you want to look at the overall landscape of the NFL from today all the way back, the refs say y'all need to be more consistent. But we ain't gonna. So that's another show. But so some other trade news. Now this is the one that I'm slightly puzzled by, and my Quan, I hope you can shed some light into this one because I'm confused here. So, not Devontae, but Diontae Johnson, former Steeler, now former Panther, has been traded to the Baltimore Ravens. My Baltimore Ravens, and I want to say it was for a 5th round pick. Now, he was kind of disgruntled this year down there in Carolina. I mean, I would be too, because I'm trying not to call them the Pussycats, but they looking kind of pussycat-ish, pussycat adjacent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, now I've seen him as a member of the Steelers, and my recollection of Diontae Johnson was that, and more times than not, he made a dependable play. But please help me, help me. Understand Diontae Johnson.
If I'm not mistaken, Diontae Johnson, the year, not last year, but the year before, he led the league in drops for the Steelers. If I'm not mistaken. But I will say that I did see slight improvement with him that following year. It was like he was kind of, finding himself. But I think it just boils down to, I believe Baltimore wants more pass catchers out there, which I really don't feel like y'all need any. But
if it was me, it'd be secondary. But
Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Likely, Bateman. I don't really see where the need is, but nevertheless, if you look at Diontae Johnson, this current year, he's only had one game over 100 yards.
And I think that was against the Raiders, right?
And that was against the Raiders, correct? He really he only had a handful of games where he had over 10 targets. And yes, Carolina got a lot of things going on with the quarterback situation.
Right. I was
a whole lot of other stuff that was shading that, but they didn't. They're currently got a losing record right now. I think they're looking forward to the draft, honestly, because they understand that they're in a rebuild moment. I just think that Baltimore wants to add 2 more hands out there and somebody that can hopefully catch the ball, even though like I said, he has a history of dropping the ball. But we shall see, man. Honestly, depending on how he's being used, he could be somewhat of a good pickup, I think. Still a developing receiver, I believe, even though he shouldn't be as long as he's been in the league.
Yeah.
But the situations that he's been in hasn't been of great. Not to build an excuse, but to build an excuse. But honestly, I don't really make sense of it for Baltimore, and neither Carolina. I feel like he was doing okay in Carolina at least, but obviously not. They traded him for a 5th round pick, which speaks a lot about how the Carolina Panthers value him, and it just speaks a lot of volumes of how they feel about. Dude, just to get rid of him mid-season,
right.
For a 5th round, that just says a lot. But maybe Baltimore can be able to unlock some things. Maybe they'll put him in the slot. He can play the outside. Like I said, I don't really see a need for Baltimore to have a receiver. If anything, y'all need to fix that defense side of the ball. But that's another topic for another day. As far as the Johnson, we shall see, man. Honestly, I wouldn't want to come back to the AFC North if I was a receiver at this present time.
Not the way it's standing right now. See, while you was talking, the thoughts was racing in my mind. I really feel like that Baltimore made that move based on Nelson Aguilar. Nelson, sometimes I got hands, sometimes I don't. Aguilar.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
Personally, if I were the GM, I would have definitely addressed that secondary. You know what I'm saying? I would have put a call in to Arizona. Like, what y'all want for Buda Baker? I would have put a call in to the Saints. Hey, what y'all want? But see, one thing about the Honey Badger, we already got a Honey Badger-ish player in Kyle Hamilton, so I wouldn't even make that move. But I would have definitely found a corner or something because we made Jameis Winston look like Tom Brady. I'm just saying. But anyway, a little bit of depressing news. Stefon Diggs. Gosh, you hate to see it, man. He tore his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the 2024 season, man. That's tough. And, prayers out to the homie, man. Like, for real. Like, you don't want to see it go down like that, bro.
Yeah, my only thing is, I mean, definitely, don't want anybody to get injured and cut their season short.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. CJ Stroud has not, I don't know, the vibe he gave last year, Rookie of the Year, which I feel like, he balled out last year without Stefon Diggs, was one of the last people to throw a pick for the first 6 weeks of football. I mean, he just played outstanding last year, and now it's just like for his first pro year, it's just like with all the weapons that they do have at the wide receiver position, it's very like I don't know, it's concerning. I mean, yeah, they have a running record right now, but I don't know, man. CJ Stroud just ain't been strouting. He be playing like Trout right now. I don't know what's going
He
on,
said
but
Trout, man.
I
I'm
mean,
hungry.
definitely, they're gonna miss Stefon Diggs. I feel like he was a big part of not a big part of the offense, but a piece of the offense that was definitely needed, and they used quite a bit more than I thought they was. I mean, with Tank Dell and all the rest of them, I didn't really think Stefon Diggs was gonna get too much attention, but I mean, it's Stefon Diggs. You're gonna get the ball to Stefon Diggs.
Right.
So, but I mean, I don't really, I don't think the injury this shouldn't affect the offense that badly because they still got weapons and Tank, and I mean,
Not to mention Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, and I mean, they still got offensive weapons outside of Diggs. I don't think it shouldn't hurt them badly, but I mean, that's just much. I mean, just something to see how they adjust to that. As we know, the NFL is a next man up league, so we just got to figure out what they're gonna do. But I mean, I haven't been impressed with CJ Stroud. Again, they're 6-2, but I mean, the schedule that they currently have, I mean, they should be 8-0. But nevertheless,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Outside of Minnesota,
I mean, outside, yeah, they lost. I mean, Minnesota and who else?
and possibly Green Bay.
Oh yeah, and Green Bay.
Just to kind of like push back a little bit on that 8-0 argument. But I get what you're saying though. Like with the Texans, I mean, it's his second year. You know what I'm saying? He came out the gate last year balling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's film out there on him now. They're starting to see his tendencies. I mean,
that's true too.
He's coming back down to the same thing is going to happen to Jaden Daniels next year. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to see.
Which I feel like he's going to be the Rookie of the Year this year.
But, I mean, again, I haven't been impressed with his gameplay. Mm-hmm. But I will say that it's not all his fault. I will put a bash mark on the Texans defense, which was a concern prior to the season even starting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've been giving up leagues and letting teams, score. So I mean, they've been putting CJ Stroud in a tough position.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking when you got those receivers and all those weapons on offense, it should be a little bit more easier for you to score. But again, like I said, I mean, he's not playing horrible, but he's just not giving that vibe he gave last year when it was like, yeah, this dude's gonna be, special. Which he still is in some ways, but y'all get what I mean.
Yeah. So, final story for this episode. And this one was kind of weird. So let me set it up a little bit. So on Sunday, Anthony Richardson, the quarterback for the Indy Colts, he checked out of a play. And in his press conference, he said, "It's hot out here, boss. I'm tired."
Mm.
And so the Colts looked at him and said, "We don't care about your meteorological assessments." And they benched him versus the Vikings come Sunday in favor of the ageless wonder, Joe Flacco. Dog, let me tell you
Get a
something.
shot again, buddy.
First of all, so Joe Flacco is like a case of the bed bugs. You can't just get rid of him. You got to. First of all, big shout out to Joe Flacco, man. But honestly, and I feel like that was a young move there. Like that was a moment of immaturity, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have said that at the press conference. I wouldn't have said I was tired. Oh, I would have made up an excuse. I would have been like, "Look, I feel like my ankle was tweaked a little bit, so I, had to sit down and and I would have played the whole thing. I would have went and saw the team doctor, be like, "Hey, check my ankle real quick." I would have not have said I was tired. The reason why is really two reasons. First of all, the media is gonna blow it out of proportion. You know what I'm saying? What if guy got asthma or something? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then two, the way he's going to be looked at in between those numbers by some of his teammates as well as opposing teams. So if you checking out that early and you said you was tired, I don't know. That's. I mean, to me, as somebody who was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, that's a bad look. But it could be other reasons. We don't know, and we're not here to speculate his reasoning behind it, other than he's tired. I got to take his word for it. He was tired that one play, but you can feel free to take that one if you want, boss.
I mean, I just think it's more of a learning experience for Anthony. As of right now, I don't see the Colts giving up on Anthony. I just think they may just want to teach him a lesson and teach him a little bit about how this game works. If you're the starting quarterback, there's no such thing as taking yourself out. You got to play. I mean, so if you're gonna pretty much give up on a game or a play by saying you're tired and exhausted, well, they're gonna go on to the next quarterback who's may got a better drive than you do. They
Got a
don't
little
want
pep in the
nobody out
step.
there. Yeah, may not want anybody out there to be giving up on plays. So I really just think it's a learning experience for the second year quarterback. Maybe they'll bench him for this week. Maybe he'll be back next week. I mean, we'll just see. The media is definitely gonna give him a hard time. But Jeff Saturday, which I briefly listened to, was against them benching Richardson. I mean, the Colts are currently, I believe, 4-4, second in the division. I mean, so still very in the AFC South fight for the division, at least. I don't really know what Joe Flacco brings to the Colts. He doesn't have a Cleveland defense. So I don't know. Anyways, I going back to, I just think it's a learning experience for him. I mean, it's more of a pop on the hand type of thing, possibly. But we shall see. Maybe they'll bench for the whole season. I don't know. I mean, I believe he only completed 10 out of like 30 passes.
Jeez,
So
I mean,
that ain't
being
really
that they
good either.
drafted him so high, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna bench him for the season. But I agree with what you're saying, that it's more of a smack on the wrist, go to timeout type thing. And like you said, his stats was not spectacular.
His stats hasn't been spectacular all season. I mean, dude got a 44.4 completion percentage.
That's not good, man.
I mean, so maybe it's a little bit of both of maybe what he did Sunday was icing on the cake. Maybe they was already
It gave them the reason
moving away from Anthony. But we shall see. I mean, like I said, I don't really know what Joe Flacco does for a team as the Colts, but
complete more than 10 passes.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, he ain't mobile. He ain't gonna run away. You ain't got no
Oh,
quarterback.
no.
I mean,
But
we gonna see though. We gonna see what they do. Maybe, like I said, I believe it'll probably be for this week. They'll Benjamin.
yeah,
Maybe they'll
I
start
mean,
following.
Joe Flacco, he's up there, but I'll take him over Andy Dalton right this second. So Carolina should have been in that Flacco sweepstakes, but that's just me. Good show, man. As we said at the top, thank y'all for really tuning in and riding with us, on this train here. If you're in the neighborhood, if you're on Facebook especially, please hit us up in the Pack Porch Sports Podcast War Room, where we're always there. We always chopping it up. We always posting announcements, especially with these stories that came out. We try to post them within minutes of that news dropping. And also, if you like this video, just leave a like. Please leave a like. Leave a comment if you agree, if you disagree, whatever. We're here for it. Especially, I forget the dude named the Cowboy fan who tried to cape for Jerry Jones. You had to come at my boy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Still ain't subscribed, boy. Good God.
I mean, you talk all that game because we talked about your little Jerry.
Ain't gotta be like that, man. The world could be a better place. We can just agree to disagree.
You know what I'm saying? That's on all fronts too, man. If we just agree to disagree, if you don't like what somebody doing, it ain't got nothing to do with you in your house. You know what I'm saying?
Talking about? Yeah.
But
we can still losing. I got. My bad. That's that 62 attitude. My bad. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying they just an easy target. It's a big old star. You can shoot, they easier than the Carolina Pussycats right now, boy. But we gonna go ahead and you got anything you want to add, bro?
Not at all, man.
All right, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. This has been the Pack Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz
and Quan.
And we out.